LEGO has made 44 Ultimate Collector Series Star Wars sets. Some of them are the best things that LEGO has ever made, and some of them are hundreds of dollars of a LEGO set that shouldn't even exist. In this video, we're going to rank every single one, worst to first. Starting off in dead last is set 75098, the Assault on Hoth. This to me feels like a bunch of side builds slapped with the UCS logo on it to try and sell it, because this thing was a major flop. It released in 2016 and it retired in December of 2017, so a year and a half on shelves for a UCS set is unheard of. While there are a lot of negatives around this set, there are a few positives like the snowspeeder and the ability to have Luke hanging upside down in the Wampa cave, but besides that, this is just a huge flop and a missed opportunity. At number 43 will be set 7194, the buildable Yoda from 2002. Retailing for $100 for the time, I'll admit, it was probably a good set. So when LEGO eventually revisits this, it will be nice to have a more updated version of it, but its biggest issue is just how dated it is compared to other dated sets. It just doesn't age as well. Number 42 will be the 2003 Rebel Snowspeeder. Set 10129 retailed for $130, and just like with the Yoda, it's just dated and it just can't hang with the rest. But for a 2003 set, yeah, it's good. It just doesn't have that luster like other classic LEGO sets do. Then we have 10186, the buildable General Grievous from 2008. This is a really cool buildable character and I'm happy LEGO made it. I would love for them to revisit it, and it just once again falls short for me. It's not the worst thing in the world. General Grievous, as time goes on, becomes more and more loved and appreciated, so I think that if they revisit this at some point in the next few years, it will get a lot more praise than it did back in 2008. At number 40 is going to be the Rebel Blockade Runner, set 10019, which retailed for $200. While this set is from 2001 and it is outdated, the biggest hindrance for me is that I'm just not the biggest fan of the Rebel Blockade Runner. There's plenty of other ships and vehicles in Star Wars I like way more than this, and it's just some bias that takes this down a notch. 39th will go to set 7191, the X-Wing from 2000. This is such a classic set and one I do hope to one day have in my collection, but looking at it without my bias, the thing is pretty ugly. It is the first UCS X-Wing, but in the grand scheme of things, coloring is really weird, building techniques are extremely weird, and it just doesn't do it for me. 38th is going to be the partner in crime to the X-Wing with the TIE Interceptor. Once again, it just falls short to how early in the UCS line this was. The coloring was wrong, the shaping and gaps are just way too big, and yes, I will cut us some slack because of techniques and how early on in LEGO Star Wars this was, but it just can't hang with more modern UCS sets. Now we have the 2006 AT-ST. This is set 10174. It released in July of 2006 for a retail price of $80. For a UCS set underneath $100, we're never seeing that again. I can admit the AT-ST isn't a vehicle I gravitate towards a whole lot. It's a weird looking ship, it requires a unique taste, and while I do love myself Return of the Jedi, I don't really care all too much for the awkwardness of the AT-ST. But it's just one of those sets that if I never get this added to my collection, I'll be able to live with myself. 36 will be with the 2004 Y-Wing. While I do have a lot of older sets towards the bottom of this list, this 2004 Y-Wing looks really good, especially knowing that it's from 2004. This is one that I can see myself moving up on my next ranking video for a UCS set already, and maybe by the time this video is out and you're watching this, I already regret placing it so low. It's hard to tell that it's from 2004, it retailed for $120, and it just looks so magnificent. The biggest giveaway is that it's the older display plaque, that's the telltale that this is from 2004, but besides that, this easily could look like it's from 2010. Then is Darth Vader's TIE Advanced. Releasing in 2006, it doesn't get hurt as badly as that TIE Interceptor from 2000, and it looks exactly how you'd expect a set from this time to be. The TIE Advanced definitely has a unique shape. Darth Vader is tied to this, no pun intended, and you have yourself a solid set. This was on shelves for about 2.5 years, which tells you that it definitely was a successful run. The 2012 R2-D2 is next, and I like this one. It's packed with play features. If you want, you can display it, and I think it holds up relatively well compared to some of these sets we get today. Whether you want to have this alongside the more modern R2-D2, have it alongside the Chopper and other droids, you can get away with it. It has that nice authentic Lego Star Wars look, especially with the R2 minifig. 33 will be with set 75341, Luke's Landspeeder. This released in 2022, and I like this set. It's just, how many Luke's Landspeeders are we going to get? It's a UCS set we all felt was going to have to release at some point, but it wasn't one that anyone was actively dying to get. In terms of as a build goes, this is as close to perfect as you're gonna get in terms of a UCS set. It's just hurting at the fact that it's a Luke's Landspeeder, and a Luke's Landspeeder isn't all that flashy. 32 is going to be Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter, set 10215, released in 2010, and I'm surprised we haven't had any other UCS Jedi Starfighters. This released for $100 and didn't include any minifigs unless you include the astromech droid's head that you can put on the side, but I'm surprised we never got an Anakin Starfighter to pair alongside with this. I'm a sucker for Starfighters, and I would love for them to come back and revisit this. The 2012 B-Wing is next on the list, and once again another set that needs to get a remake. It has that older vibe to it, but not in a bad way, and I definitely think the demand for a new UCS B-Wing is there with all the B-Wings we've seen in some Star Wars projects recently. The design is really good on this. The B-Wing is such a unique shape, and it's weird, but in a good way, and that's what they really nailed with this, the weirdness and the uniqueness of the B-Wing. Speaking of uniqueness, in 30th will be the Darth Maul bust from 2001, one of the most loved Star Wars sets, releasing all the way back in 2001. 29th is set 10143, the Death Star 2. This retailed for $270, and it released in 2005. This was a really cool set, and one that even for 2005 is ahead of its time, and fans today still rave about this. The biggest drawback is the stability issues behind this. While I haven't personally ever built it, I've only heard horror stories about when you're building this, it feels like it's going to fall apart on you, and once it's even completed, it still feels like it's going to fall apart on you. Just by looking at it, you would think this thing's going to tumble and crash in your fingers. It's one of those sets that could definitely use a new modern facelift. At number 28, I have the 2023 X-Wing. Set 75355 is going to be here. Is this a little bit low? Maybe to some people, but to me, I feel that LEGO dropped the ball a little bit on this. This released for $240 in May of 2023, and don't get me wrong, it is a solid set. It just didn't give me the same wow factor like these other sets we're gonna get to did. The techniques, the mechanism, the Luke minifig, the R2, everything about it is very good, as it is the most modern X-Wing that we've had, so you would expect it to. It's just one of those builds that we've seen it before, we're gonna see it again, and it's not a UCS set that I was ever actively trying to go and grab. Now I have the 2017 Snowspeeder. I know, it might be controversial having it over the X-Wing, but set 75144 is super solid, and I love this. On the display stand, it's a perfect display piece. The box art on this, I can't get enough of. Even though we are talking about the set itself, not the box art, but still, this box art would just absolutely peak. You can open up the cockpit and you can choose how you want to display it. Cockpit open, cockpit closed, it doesn't matter. It just makes me feel some sort of way comparing it to that X-Wing we just mentioned. Number 26 is going to be the original Star Destroyer from 2002, a set that I like to say was way ahead of its time. This set was massive, and it had some very unique building techniques with magnets that did cause the set to have some sagging and stability issues over time, but once again, coming out in 2002, I can let that slide. Number 25 will fall to the 2002 Naboo Starfighter. Now we're at the point where starting to list these sets are hard because we're just getting the peak set after peak set, but I felt this was the right spot for it. The chrome pieces on this are superb, and fans would love to see this one get remade. It's a set that if you want it new in box, good luck, because it will cost you an arm and a leg. 24 is going to be with the UCS Millennium Falcon, a set that was truly ahead of its time and one that fans thought was going to break LEGO Star Wars. It was the largest set ever that LEGO made at this point, and in 2007 it released for $500, and that was crazy for that time. Man, they just needed to wait a few more years, as now we have a set for $1,000. Which, speaking of $1,000, the Death Star is going to slide into the 23 spot. This set came with a bunch of mixed emotions from people wanting it to be a sphere, others not happy with it being a slice. The list goes on and on. As time has gone on, I can admit it has grown on me, and it will continue to grow on me. The minifig lineup, for what it is, was good, but it should have had more stormtroopers and just a few more minifigs for that $1,000 price point. It's a bunch of mini dioramas combined into one, and it definitely is one heck of a display set. Just for me, $1,000, I don't know if I can justify that price. 22nd will be with the UCS TIE Fighter that released in 2015. Set 75095 is a true beauty. This cost $200, and as you've probably heard me say, the TIE Fighters always have a special place in my heart. You throw this up next to a UCS X-Wing that you may have, and you have a beautiful 1-2 combo. 21st is going to go to the modernized UCS ATST. I don't know how you can get any better for an ATST here. You get an ATST pilot, which is nice. But once again, the biggest hindrance is just my personal opinion of not being the craziest fan of this vehicle in Star Wars. 20 will be with the A-Wing. I like this set a lot more than some people might. I know an A-Wing isn't anything flashy, but much like with the Luke's Landspeeder, it's not a UCS set that anyone is crazy over the moon about, but it's one that we were gonna get. I just think it gets lost in the shuffle with it not being flashy, like let's say an X-Wing, Millennium Falcon, or Death Star. Number 19 will be the 2016 Death Star, set 75159, released on the heels of the 2008 model, and I just feel it was doing too much and it released way too quick. I don't want to say Death Star fatigue or any of that, it just felt like they were releasing a slightly altered version of the prior Death Star, which was fine. Too much, too quick. And this did retail for $500. Number 18 is going to be the TIE Interceptor from 2024. I love this set. I don't know how you can improve on a TIE Interceptor. It really did look phenomenal. The TIE Pilot was amazing. You got a mouse droid, you got the anniversary brick, and the $230 price point felt right for where LEGO Star Wars was at the time. So everything you want from a UCS set, it has. 17th will go to the UCS Mando's N1 Starfighter. This is a set that I personally love, but there's just so many good UCS sets, it had to settle here. I think a lot of people, myself included, might have preferred the Naboo yellow and chrome model over this, but with the Mando movie, it was now or never for a set that was going to happen. The Mando and Grogu minifigs are great, nothing out of this world, and the detailing is wonderful. The stickers are a bit of a hindrance just because of you are paying $240 for this set. Why are we getting stickers with it? But that's what you're getting into when you're buying LEGO nowadays. The 2018 Y-Wing is here. I love this thing. I love the 2004 model, but the 2018 model takes it by a landslide. Such a solid set. The Y-Wing is super fun. The shaping of it, like that B-Wing, it's just different. And with the unique shaping of the Y-Wing, it just draws my attention to it. The minifigs included are great. I have a particular love for the astromech droid. It's just something a little bit different. And I like how you can pose this in many different ways with the cannons, the cockpit can open and close. So it's definitely up there for me. 15th will go to the 2013 UCS X-Wing. I consider this to be the greatest UCS X-Wing ever, and having this over the more modernized version might be controversial, but I don't care. Something about this when it released, super exciting. The hype around this for myself, it was an X-Wing that I said, you know what, I'm going to get, and it forever will just be such a classic to me. 14th will be with the Super Star Destroyer. Much like with the regular Star Destroyer, this is super unique. The one thing is, this came with a nice plethora of minifigs. Now, you can tell that this thing is a little bit dated as it released in 2011, but it's what I like to call that good type of dating for a LEGO Star Wars set. It's one that can still hold up with sets today, and it just has that aura or presence, as I like to put it, when you have it on display alongside your other sets. You can tell it's a little bit older, but not in a bad way where it aged poorly. Number 13 will be with the 2008 Death Star. This is the older version, but for me, I thought it was perfect. It has that classic vibe to it, and one that collectors still want today. Sure, it might not be as modernized as the 2016 one, but I think for the time and what they were able to accomplish at this point was way more than anyone could have expected, and it's a way to build the Death Star that fans still want to see happen today. In 12th is the UCS Sandcrawler. This is a set that I feel is disrespected when looking at UCS sets. It's amazing. This is the best Sandcrawler of all time, and there have been a few good Sandcrawlers. So many minifigs, so many play features, so many display options with this. Nice interior. The exterior is wonderful, just all the different coloring of shades of brown and tan. Everything you want from a Sandcrawler was here. It's one that if they released the same exact set on shelves today, you couldn't even tell me that this was from 2014. Number 11 is the most controversial UCS set ever with the Republic Gunship. I love the set. I know there was the whole debacle behind the minifigs, and then you get the wrong logo on the box, but for whatever reason, it doesn't bother me as much anymore because I can look back at it and chuckle at the memes that it gave us. Yes, it was kind of disrespectful to the fans, but when you're looking at just the set at face value, you can't tell me this was poorly designed. And the set's massive. It's one of those that when you have it in person, it just looks larger than life. I might be in the minority here, but I would love for them to go back and remake another UCS gunship, not the Republic gunship, but you have plenty of other variants that would absolutely crush it on shelves. Cracking the top 10 is a set I never thought we'd ever see this low with Boba Fett's Slave 1, set 75060. This is always going to have a special place in my heart. The box art, the minifigs, the playability, the displayability, everything about this is truly perfect for the time when it released in 2015. I don't want to give any spoilers, but there may or may not have been another variant of this that really brings out the flaws in this, which I'll touch on when we get to that. 9th is the Ewok Village. For the first time in a long time, a UCS set on this list that's not a shipper vehicle feels a little bit weird. For $250, this is wonderful. Releasing in 2013, retiring in 2016. Much like with the Sandcrawler, you can release this set today with some updated minifigs, and you probably couldn't tell that this is another set that released over 10 years ago all that much. 8th is the UCS Jabba's Sail Barge, set 75397 from 2024. The build itself, perfection. No complaints from me on this build. It has an interior, you can place your minifigs on top, on the inside, you can pull down the side panels and show off that flashy interior. The one thing is the minifig lineup just is underwhelming in terms of detail. You're charging this much for a set and you're not going to give dual molded legs and the best available minifig for each character, which is very disappointing. But minifigs aside, going strictly off of the build, it's beautiful. Number 7 is with the Imperial Shuttle from 2010. This is one of the goats of LEGO Star Wars, and for all the right reasons. It's such a clean looking ship, just that all white, and then you have 5 minifigs included. A few of them are actually exclusive to this set, just making it feel all that much more special. It's a set that even if they do go back and remake, I don't know where they'll upgrade it because it just looks that good. 6th is with the UCS Venator. You know, many people don't like how it's a flagship Venator. Me personally, I love that it's a flagship Venator. Those red markings make it stand out that much more. If you really wanted to swap out the red markings, you can. Granted, you don't want to spend any extra money when you're already paying $650 for this. But hey, you know what? this is a absolute beast. It's a Clone Wars set. You get Captain Rex, you get Admiral Yularen, and you're gonna have yourself a darn good time. Fifth is going to be the Razor Crest. Once again, a full-fledged interior that takes up one big footprint. The minifigs were great, and it even included plenty of Easter eggs along the way, with some Boba Fett armor built into the inside, which was a nice little touch. The one gripe I have with this are the stickers that are on there. As we know, gray on gray for Lego Star Wars just could never actually match up. I hinted at this before, but number 4 is Jango Fett's starship. That's why Boba Fett's is so low now. 75409, released in 2025, and it's perfect. Quite literally, my only complaint with this set is the young Boba Fett minifig. If that was better, this would be truly a perfect Lego set. Number 3 is the UCS AT-AT Walker, the $800 beast, set 75313, absolutely insane. Not only is this one of the greatest Lego Star Wars sets, in my opinion, it's one of the greatest Lego sets of all time. It provided everything you wanted with play and display, as you can adjust the legs, the head, you can lift up the panels on the side to access the interior, you had the snow speeders, you had the E-Web blaster, and you could even display Luke Skywalker underneath the belly of the beast. In second is the 2019 Star Destroyer. Just like with the AT-AT Walker, I consider this to be one of the greatest Lego sets of all time. One of my only complaints is the fact that this didn't come with a Darth Vader minifig, as this Star Destroyer was Darth Vader's, so it would have been nice to have 3 minifigs with the set for $700. I don't know what else to say besides this thing is just iconic. The silhouette of the Star Destroyer is crazy, and if you have this and you walk into the room, you're going to want to stare at it for hours. But a set that you would want to stare at for even longer is what's going to be at the number 1 spot, and to no one's surprise, my favorite Lego set of all time, with the 2017 UCS Millennium Falcon. $800, now costing $850, set 75192 is truly one of a kind. This set broke Lego when it came out. It was out of stock for months. Lego stores everywhere were flooded with fans trying to get this set. You needed to get there hours upon hours early in person to even try and get this, and even if you did, you weren't guaranteed a Millennium Falcon. This can be both the original trilogy or sequel Falcon, depending on a few modifications you can make along the way, which is nice for fans who want to switch it up from time to time. And if everything holds true, we are expected to get another UCS Falcon next year, as this one is retiring this year. So how are they going to improve upon this? I don't know, but I am all for it. As the Millennium Falcon glazer that I am, I would love to see another one on shelves. It's going to be crazy, but let me know what you think about this ranking. What do you think I got right? What do you think I got wrong? Let me know your rankings in the comments down below. So don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more Lego content, and I'll see you in the next one.